Let's be real for a second. Most financial gurus love to talk about the first million. They get on camera, fix their expensive watches, and tell you that once you hit 7 figures, the clouds part and the birds start singing. But for most of us, that feels like a fairy tale. It's so far away, it's almost meaningless. It's like trying to imagine what the surface of Mars feels like. But there's a much smaller, much more dangerous number that nobody ever talks about. And that number is $20,000. 20 grand. In the grand scheme of things, it's not buy a private island money. It's not even retire early money. But in the reality of the American economy, it's the exact moment your life stops feeling like a constant emergency. It's the threshold where you finally stop checking your bank account before buying a latte and start worrying about things like identity and status. See, most of us spend our lives in the red zone. That's the place where a flat tire or a broken tooth is a financial catastrophe. You're living on high alert, your cortisol levels are through the roof, and you're just one bad Tuesday away from total ruin. But then, you scrape, you save, you deal with the burnout, and suddenly, you look at your phone, and there it is, $20,000. It's a weird feeling, right? It's the first time you feel safe. But that safety is a trap, because when the panic goes away, the boredom moves in. And your bank? Oh, they are counting on that boredom. They've been watching you climb out of the hole, and now that you're at the top, they're ready to sell you a ladder that leads straight back down. When you have $20,000, you aren't just a person with a savings account anymore. You've become the most valuable target in the world, a consumer with disposable potential. Think back to the last time you had absolutely $0, or maybe just enough for rent and not a cent more. When you're at that level, every weird noise your car makes sounds like a death sentence. Every unexpected bill in the mail isn't just an inconvenience, it's a panic attack waiting to happen. You spend your days doing financial gymnastics, moving money from one credit card to another just to keep the lights on. That's survival mode. It's exhausting, and it's where a huge chunk of Americans live every single day. But when you cross that $20,000 line, something psychological happens. The survival brain, that part of you that's always looking for the next threat, finally takes a nap. For the first time, you aren't waking up wondering how to survive the month. You're wondering what to do with the future. This is what we call financial peace in its rawest, most honest form. It's the power to walk into a mechanic shop and say, "Fix it," without needing to check your app first. It's the ability to sleep through the night because you know that even if the world gets a little crazy tomorrow, you've got a cushion. But here's the problem. We aren't used to peace. We are used to the hustle. We're used to the adrenaline of the struggle. When that stress disappears, it leaves a void. And if you aren't careful, you'll try to fill that void with the very things that will put you right back into survival mode. You see, the system is designed to keep you in a state of comfortable anxiety. It wants you to feel just stable enough to take on more debt, but not stable enough to actually be free. When the survival mode ends, the real battle begins. And it's not against your bank account. It's against your own brain. Here is the psychological truth that your bank won't tell you. Your brain isn't actually wired for stability. It's wired for novelty. When you were broke, getting a $20 bill felt like winning the lottery. Your brain would light up like a Christmas tree because that money meant immediate relief. But now that you have 20 grand, that money just sits there. It's static. It's boring. And let's be honest, the human brain hates boring. This is the exact moment when those dopamine loops start calling your name. You've spent months, maybe years, being disciplined. You've said no to vacations, no to the new iPhone, and no to going out every weekend. But now you look at that balance, and a voice in the back of your head whispers, "I've worked so hard. I'm doing better than most people. I should live a little." This is where the doom spending kicks in. You're burnt out from the hustle. You're tired of the news cycles, and you want to feel something. Since that $20,000 isn't changing your life in a visible way, you're still in the same apartment, still driving the same car, you start looking for ways to make that money feel real. You start trading your newfound peace for temporary hits of serotonin. You buy the premium version of everything. You start saying yes to things you used to scoff at. And the worst part? You justify it because you have the money. Right, but what you're actually doing is draining the battery of your freedom just to power a few seconds of excitement. Your bank is just sitting back, waiting for that balance to drop, because a bored person with savings is just one impulse away from becoming a profitable debtor again. Now, let's talk about the people on the other side of that bank app. To you, that $20,000 is a safety net. To them, it's unutilized inventory. See, banks don't make money when your cash is just sitting there in a high-yield account, giving you interest. They make money when you move it. And specifically, they want you to use that money as a hook. They know that 20 grand is the danger zone of confidence. It's enough money to make you feel wealthy, but not enough to actually be wealthy. It's the perfect amount for a down payment. Suddenly, your inbox is full of pre-approved offers. You start getting ads for that $60,000 truck or that house that's just a little bit out of your price range. The system is designed to see your savings not as a shield for your future, but as a lever to pull you into a much larger debt. They want you to think, well, I have $20,000. If I put 10 down on this new car, I still have 10 left. I'm still safe. But what you've actually done is trade $10,000 of pure freedom for 5 years of monthly stress. You've turned your security into their revenue. They've successfully convinced you to use your hard-earned peace as a deposit for a new cage. There's a silent killer that waits for you the moment you stop worrying about rent. It's called lifestyle creep, and it's the primary reason people with good money still feel broke. When you have that $20,000 cushion, you stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "Do I want this?" And in our culture, the answer is always yes. It starts small. It's the organic groceries. It's the slightly nicer hotel on vacation. It's the upgrade to the premium seats because, hey, you've got the cash, right? But here's the trick. Once you upgrade your life, it is almost impossible to downgrade it. Your brain resets its baseline. Suddenly, the stuff that used to be a luxury feels like a necessity. You don't even notice it's happening until you realize that even though you're making more than ever and you have this big savings account, you're still living paycheck to paycheck because your expenses rose to meet your balance. This is exactly where society wants you. They want you stuck on the treadmill of more. They want you to use your 20 grand to fund a lifestyle that requires you to keep working a job you might actually hate. You aren't buying things, you're trading your future time for objects that lose their shine in 2 weeks. You've let the ghost of status haunt your bank account, and the result is a life that looks rich on the outside but feels suffocating on the inside. We live in a culture that treats exhaustion like a badge of honor. We're all running on caffeine, back-to-back meetings, and the constant pressure to optimize every second of our lives. This leads to a very specific kind of mental fatigue. And when you're that tired, when you've reached the point of total burnout, your brain starts looking for a way out. This is where the most dangerous phrase in the world enters your mind. I deserve this. When you have $20,000 in the bank and you're feeling miserable at your desk, you start looking at that money as a way to buy back your happiness. You convince yourself that a $10,000 vacation or a brand new car is the only thing that will make the grind worth it. It's a form of emotional compensation. You aren't buying a product, you're trying to buy a feeling of relief. The problem is, that relief lasts about 3 days. Once the vacation is over or the new car smell fades, you're back at the same desk, with the same burnout. But now, you have half the freedom you had before. You've traded your emergency exit for a temporary distraction. The system loves this because it keeps you dependent. If you spend your savings to cope with your job, you'll never have enough savings to actually leave your job. You're effectively paying your own bail, but never actually walking out of the prison. There is a massive difference between having money that shows and having money that works. Most people, the moment they hit that $20,000 mark, they want it to be loud money. They want the world to see the progress. They want the clothes, the tech, and the social media posts that say, "Look, I'm not struggling anymore." But the real power of 20 grand is that it's the beginning of quiet money. Quiet money doesn't make a sound. It sits in a boring account and buys you something much more valuable than a luxury watch. It buys you leverage. When you have quiet money, you have the option to say no. You can say no to a boss who asks you to work over the weekend for no extra pay. You can say no to a job offer that pays more but would destroy your mental health. You can say no to the hustle culture that demands every waking hour of your life. This is exactly why your bank and the entire consumer economy hates quiet money. Quiet money makes you dangerous. It makes you harder to control. If you have $20,000 in low expenses, you aren't desperate, and desperate people are much easier to sell to. They want you to turn that quiet money into loud money as fast as possible, because once the money is gone and turned into stuff, your leverage disappears. You're back to being a yes man because you have bills to pay for things you didn't even need in the first place. So, here we are. You've reached the threshold. You have the $20,000, or you're on the path to getting it. The question is, what are you going to do when the boredom hits? What are you going to do when that "I deserve this" voice starts whispering in your ear after a long, exhausting Tuesday? The most radical thing you can do, the thing that will actually make your bank and the marketing algorithms panic, is nothing, literally. Just let the money sit there. Don't upgrade the car. Don't buy the status symbols. Don't turn your security into someone else's interest payment. The goal isn't to look like you have $20,000. The goal is to feel the freedom that comes with actually having it. When you stop playing the game of more, you realize that the real level up isn't a better lifestyle. It's a better mindset. It's the peace of knowing you aren't a slave to your paycheck anymore. That is a feeling no luxury car or fancy vacation can ever replicate. It's time to stop feeding the system and start building your own escape route. If you felt that survival mode stress, or if you're fighting that urge to spend right now, you aren't alone. It's how we're wired. But awareness is the first step to breaking the loop. If this perspective hit home, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and join the Psych and Sense community. We're diving deep into the psychology of money every week so you can stop being a pawn in the bank's game and start taking control of your life. And hey, leave a comment below. Have you ever hit a savings goal only to feel that sudden urge to spend it all? Let's talk about it.